What is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you guys the difference between remote functions and remote events and how to use them via Seraph. So just a quick disclaimer, I am not the best in coding any of this, so there's no guarantee that this is actually going to be that good of a tutorial, but again, I will try my best. As you guys can see, I already have it all open here, and I have RemoteSpy launched. If you guys didn't know, Seraph actually has a separated RemoteSpy that's built in, so you don't have to have the script, which is very, very nice. So we actually really don't need this until we go to trigger the events that are going to occur. So a couple things I need to get out of the way first before we start is number one, the difference between a invoke server and fire server. How do you know when to do either one? So if it's a fire server, it'll be an event. It'll be a remote event. If it's an invoke server, it will be a remote function. So invoke server, remote function, and fire server, remote event. So I know that might seem a little complicated right now, but once we get into actually finding out something to change, which we're probably going to end up doing a stat change here on these just to make my guy look more buff. If you guys didn't know, this is actually the Roblox gym, and I chose this because it seemed pretty easy. So what we're gonna do here real fast is we're gonna try to trigger some remote events to get some data on how we can possibly change our stats. Down here, as you guys can see, we're at 108. So if I go onto this and do one bench press, let's see what happens. As you guys can see, we had a whole bunch of events over here being called. We had some animations, some bars, some power levels, and stuff like that being called. Now the one that catches my eye is right here, which is a save stat, and it also has our current bench number in it. So as I can see is that if I want to change this, I might be able to by calling this fire server. As you guys see, it's a remote event, so we'll call a fire server when we go into the script. So I want to call this because I want my benching to be super high, higher than 114. And as you guys can see, it has a string, then it's followed by a number, and then it's followed by a true or false. I think this guy might be a hacker as well, considering the fact that his lifting bar goes through the map. So we are going to go ahead and try to call this real fast and see what happens. So as you guys can see, the path right here is where it's at. There will always be a dot or a game dot before this. So if we wanted to, we can go ahead and copy this path. Go ahead and go into here, and we're going to go ahead and type in game dot and paste the path. Game dot replicated storage is where about 90% of remote events and functions will occur, because that's where most of them are called in the server. So because it is a fire server, we want to go ahead, oh sorry, my bad, because it is a remote event, we want to go ahead and fire server. So we want to go, what is that called again? I believe it's like colon or something like that. Anyways, it's this little thing, and then these afterwards. So it's the two little dots, fire server for remote event, and then the parentheses. Now what do we put in the parentheses? we can go ahead and put the arguments right here into the parentheses, because those are what we're being called, and we want to call exactly what was being called, but maybe do our own twist and put a modification on it. So if we go ahead and just execute this, you can see that it does call the save stat again. Our number didn't change, and it calls a hard save, which I'm assuming just automatically saves your stuff. So it didn't change again, but what if we modify this 114 to something? Let's just try 120, just something a little bit more, and then execute. As you guys can see, it just changed, and it also saved, and we can save it again by calling this, which calls a hard save, which again is a remote event, so that'd be a fire server if you really wanted to call that one. So now knowing that, we can change this to whatever we want. We can change it to, let's say, 500. Execute. As you guys see, that leveled up, and our guy got a little bit bigger, even though our legs are tiny. But now if we go on this, we can do more than just one. But we can go ahead and change our stuff even more if we wanted to, from 500 to whatever. So we're gonna go ahead and call 1000. I don't know. Make ourselves really big and buff. Yeah, that looks about right. Now, to go out on a limb here, I could just rename this to one of these and see if it worked. Or I could go around to another machine, like so, and do one. And as I can see here, the arguments got called. It's the same exact path. It is a fire server event again, because it's a remote event. And then we would just copy the arguments again and change them. So if we go ahead and copy the arguments, paste them in here, and then modify them to our liking, we can change them to, let's say, 1000 again. As you guys can see, it changed, and our guy got a whole lot bigger. Our guy is huge. I would not want to come into contact with him. Again, I'm going to go out on a limb here and just change this to one of these names just to see if it'll work. Again, this might not work, but who knows? It's all about kind of experimenting and seeing what happens. Look at that, it did work. So now I know that I can just name this whatever is over here, and it will automatically change it to get into. Not every game just has something you can, not every game is hackable. That's great. That's pretty great. Anyways, as you guys can see, we actually got another thing here that's a remote or a fire server, which is a chat, which Roblox always has these chats, and I usually don't like them. Whenever you chat something, it logs it, so I usually just like to add it to the ignore list. As you guys can see, everyone's impressed. Everyone can see how big I am, so it's pretty obvious it works, and everyone else can see the changes. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys need any more instructions, please let me know, because I'll be free to help you guys. DM me in the Seraph Discord or something like that. But other than that, that'll be it for this video. I hope this helped out a lot. If it might have helped out a little bit. If you guys need another tutorial, I'll be willing to make another one on a different game. But for now, it's just gonna be on this game, because this game was pretty easy, and I decided why not. So my name is Babyhamsta, and I'll see you guys in the next video.